Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, let's go here. I love the way they did everything in the background here. SS1, Son Goku, Janemba, we got Omega Shenron, I think aka X-Lean Shenron in the Japanese version. Yeah, man, these are just some really good, cool looking shots that they did here. I haven't even played as all these characters yet in Sparking Zero because yeah, I'll be continuing the Sparking Zero live streams as well. Yeah, man, this is really cool. I can't wait to experience a lot of some of this stuff I have, but I can't wait to experience all of it in Sparking Zero. So we started off with Goku going SS Blue here, and I love it. It's totally based off of Dragon Ball Super Broly. So yeah, these are looking really good. These are just some beautiful looking games, man. Look at that. Look at that. Goku is out for vengeance. Love that shot. Oh man, this is awesome. I was so shocked in here seeing that. I'm like, oh, okay, so they already got the blue haired, they already got the voice acting done for the dub, because I was expecting we were probably just gonna go ahead and get Japanese and everything like that in the dub. So that was really awesome seeing Goku SS Blue. It just looks phenomenal. I would say I've played a lot as SS Blue Goku from the story mode, and it's phenomenal. I love they have the whole new thing right there, new DLC, exactly what we wanted and everything. Some people think this game is dead, but it still has a high player base and everything. So looks like what's clearly dying Namek, but I believe it's supposed to be the Ice Age area that Goku and Vegeta fought Broly in, where it was like lava everywhere, but I guess, you know, they're not adding that stage. So this was really cool because Goku comes and flies, and that shot just looks awesome, man. Like, man, these games have come so far since the first Tenkaichi slash Sparking game on PS2. And so we see him flying over here. So Goku and Vegeta, that's Vegeta's battle damage from Dragon Ball Super Broly. So yeah, just phenomenal. I really love this right here. And when we see them, we got here, boom, right in the right doing, like, I think they did like a double headbutt. Like, this is the actual, yeah, the punch and the kick combination they did to Broly. This was in the actual movie. So boom, right there. Oh, Sin and Broly flying. So I'm really loving this shot right here. And then they're flying towards there, and boom. Like, this is going to be fun to pull off in this game, man. So you got Goku and Broly right there. Bam. They're pinballing up. What was it? Ping pong. Yeah, I can't. Easy for me to say. Ping ball. Is it ping ball and everything balling? Yeah, ping balling. I'm off tonight. Ping ball or whatever you call it. Broly back and forth like a ping ball, right? Boom. Vegeta sending them over to Goku, and then bam, right there in the back against Broly. Love the action frame. Goku and Vegeta working in sync. New characters, so that was really awesome. And then we get our first look at Bardock. So obviously we know he could do that. Now this is what shocked me when we saw the golden glow. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm like, oh snap, we got Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan, Super Saiyajin, whatever you want to say it, Broly. Just making sure I say it in all the ways so everybody knows I know how to say it in all different ways. Did I say Broly? Oh my gosh, Bardock. Let's try that back again. Rewind. Super Saiyan, Super Saiyajin, Super Saiyan, so that you guys know all the ways that I know how to say that. Bardock. And this was cool, so I did not expect this, and this was awesome. The way he flies, love the animation. He's got the whole spinning thing that we saw the white-haired Saiyajin do back in Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball Age 1000, which might be Xenoverse 3. So I'm loving this. And then watch this elbow, boom, right to Frieza. Oh man, look at that. And then I love right here, it's like Frieza's trying to catch him with his foot, and then I think Bardock grabs him by the leg, and I love the swing. Around and around we go, and look at Frieza. I love the close-up of Bardock's face, like he's got the murder in the eyes, and then boom, right there he's got Frieza and tosses him. There is an attack on the game, I think with Trunks when or Gohan's, one of them, they're spinning around like this, and you see the close-up of the face of them in agony before they get tossed. I love it. So since Frieza flying in the sky, and then Bardock, you know, he does that cool blast that he tried to take out Frieza with, and I love the murderous look in his eyes, and he shoots the ki blast right at Frieza. So it looks like Frieza stops and is about to nail him, and boom, look at that. That is what it looks like when death hits the eyes there. So that was cool. This was a great moment. Seeing Piccolo Daimao, aka King Piccolo, looking awesome. I think this is like the demon wave wave, I think it is the technique. That was awesome to see. I was super stoked to see this. And those of you who have played Tenkaichi 3 / Dragon Ball Sparking Meteor, I think it was, he was an OG classic. In fact, if you played Tenkaichi 2, the POW version, he was on there. Us in America, we didn't get it. In fact, speaking of Tenkaichi, this shirt I wear is actually the cover art for Tenkaichi 1, if you guys remember. So yeah, that was something here. So this was awesome to see. Love the effects, like real talk, because they were not doing animation like this in the OG Dragon Ball in the late 80s. This right here, man, they're making Piccolo Daimao, and there's a lot of attacks in this game that look so much cooler. Like, that is sick. Like, Piccolo Daimao's attacks was not looking that sick, and I love it. Basically how he is determined. Look at that, man. They got the OG Dragon Ball design, classic. Love it, absolutely love it, man. And then he sends it right there, boom, sends it out. Piccolo Daimao, man, I love it. And I gotta be honest with you guys, for those who want to know why we're so excited, if you watch OG Dragon Ball, gotta be honest, if you watch OG Dragon Ball, Piccolo Daimao, man, he was the stuff. He is kind of like, I would say, especially with the next person I'm going to be talking about, or upcoming person I'm going to be talking about for Dragon Ball, he is like, I would say, the granddaddy father of the Dragon Ball super villain. Like, you know, that otherworldly being that's not human, and wants to terrorize the world. Like, this started before we had Frieza, before we had Cell, before we had Majin Buu. We had Piccolo Daimao. He was one of the characters in one of the arcs. I think he was yeah, he was probably 1 or 2, the second, maybe just right. Yeah, it was right behind the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. I really wanted to see Piccolo Daimao arc. I was so happy when they released the King Piccolo arc, and they actually released it in America before some of the other Dragon Ball arcs that came before it. So, man, that was some real cool stuff. Just seeing King Piccolo's father, understanding his origin. Yeah, like it paved the way, and this was like the darker tone where Toriyama. It was this character that Toriyama started taking the series in a more darker tone and would lead us to a lot of the beloved villains of Dragon Ball Z. So if anyone out there, if you haven't watched OG Dragon Ball, I think watching Piccolo Daimao will give you a much more appreciation, much more respect for Dragon Ball for where we're headed, for where the Dragon Ball Z villains are headed, especially with Dragon Ball Super, because the Moro arc, it's from this character right here, the Moro arc. Toyotaro, I'm pretty sure, specifically took a certain trait of the Moro arc and took it from this arc right here, from Piccolo Daimao. So yeah, appreciation. You'll have a great appreciation for the Moro arc too if you even go back and watch this arc. So that was really cool. And then we get to the part, you know, a lot of people like to say Dragon Ball GT is trash. Well, you know what? I thought Dragon Ball GT, like I've always said, it wasn't the best. I don't put it over Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, and to a lesser degree, I don't put it over Dragon Ball Super. But Dragon Ball GT on its own, I enjoy it. I thought it had its moments, and this right here was certainly one of its moments. So we got Junagano, Lapis, Android 17, Sideboard number 17 with the glowing red eyes. And when I saw that other 17, I knew it. I was like, yes, we are on there. Let's go. But what was cool is that we only would get this character they're about to fuse in. I'm like, we can actually fuse as the 17s in the game? I'm like, let's go. I don't think that's ever been done in the Sparking games. And then we get the cool action frame, and there we are, Super 17, man. The belt buckle, the awesome, like, I love his design. Like people can say what they want to about Dragon Ball GT, but hey, man, if there's something to praise for it, the character designs were awesome. Like the character designs themselves. And I actually talked up more about this in a video that hopefully we'll see upcoming podcast that I did with shout out to Steggy Stardust, because she's one the fans who haven't seen Dragon Ball GT, but she said the characters look so cool though. And in that podcast coming up, I mentioned, like, yeah, these character designs, the character designs were so significant to Dragon Ball GT. Even if you were like me as a kid and you heard all the bad stuff about it, you saw those character designs, you're like, I gotta see this. Like, holy crap, Super 17? There's a new 17? And look at that. Taller, buffer, like, this looks like a huge upgrade to 17's character. Like, we gotta see this. I always love this character design of Super 17. It kind of always reminded me, and if you guys are followers of Yu Yu Hakusho, there was a character, Sensui Shinobu, and they got these same characters, very tall, lean, muscular characters, got these extremely long legs. It kind of reminded me of that design, and man, it is awesome. That design was awesome. His design is awesome. Super 17, my gosh, what an awesome, character-wise, he's awesome. Dude, I love it. They got it. Was it like the Eclipse Bomb? I think is what the technique is called. Super Hellfighter 17. I love it. The way it had the black orb and the red electricity over it, and just look how devious he looked. I love Super 17, man. He's definitely a blast in Dragon Ball GT. Like, this character is so cool. Dude, even this technique is cool, but he has one where he takes his arm out and it turns into a gun, and it's like an upgrade to what Android 16 could do, and he just goes like dude, I used to love doing that technique in the old Tenkaichi game, so I can't wait to see that. And this is just awesome. Boom, sending it right there. So yeah, I am super glad to see Super 17. He's been one of the most requested characters. He's a Tenkaichi OG. Like, he wasn't one that came in 2 or 3. He was in the original Tenkaichi game, and he was one of the big selling points to that game. It's like, you're gonna get so many characters. You're gonna get the GT characters, Super 17. Like, that was awesome. So it was really good to see Super 17 going into there, and then we get more customs and super attacks. Let me take a quick water break here. So new costumes and super attacks. So we're getting more look at Goku and Vegeta basically flying off back to back. And I was like, oh, this is the technique they did in Dragon Ball Super, the Galick God and the Kamehameha. I said it back in my Dragon Ball Super review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. I'm still saying it now. They made the Galick gun yellow. And this is where things just get so confusing. So for those of you who don't know, in the manga, Goku and Vegeta's Galick Gun and Kamehameha are both yellow. But in the anime, Goku's Kamehameha was changed to blue, and Vegeta's Galick Gun was changed to purple. But I guess to stay true to Toriyama's original colors, they kept the you want to say Final Flash, but they kept the Galick Gun here yellow. And then I love the camera turnaround, and then Goku's Kamehameha was cut blue. So they wanted to stay true to the anime, but then they wanted to stay true to the manga colors, and it's like, which ways are we going at it? Why, after years of animating the Galick Gun purple, do we want to finally go back to the original manga character colors? Okay, if we're going to honor the manga, then we might as well do the same thing for Goku. But oh, no. We want to honor the blue that has the anime and went different than what the manga. So this scene always is just funny because they just, for whatever reason, they didn't want to... they kind of wanted to honor the manga. Yeah, they kind of wanted to honor the manga, but then they wanted to honor the anime here as well too. So I'm like, pick your lane, guys. Pick your lane. This is the type of stuff that causes so much confusion in the fandom. It's crazy, but overall, still, it's an awesome technique and everything. I think if he would have said something like Super Galick Gun, people would have probably automatically thought like, oh, okay, the super version is a different color. But no, that's not the way it is. But still, I'm glad we're getting this in the actual game as a team up attack. So if I'm guessing how they're doing this now is if you put 2 characters on the same team, you get to choose your ultimate, tag team ultimate. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other special techniques we got in there and stuff like that. And I was real happy to see this. We got Gohan, Bojack Gohan with the outfit SS2, the way they do the zoom in on the eyes, awesome stuff. And he ends up doing the Kamehameha. Love the impact frame. And what's really cool, so when this Kamehameha hits, you see Gohan, he just flies right out of there. Loving it how he flies right out of there. out of the smoke and everything. You talk about who wants to smoke. Hey, Gohan's gonna bring the smoke apparently, and so I was not expecting them to put this in the game where he ends up flying right towards it. Loving the shots here, man. Right through Bojack, and of course they do that whole black and white contrast thing so that we don't get to see the blood and everything. Which I don't even think they had that in the actual movie and everything. It's been a while since I've watched what was that movie? It had a really ridiculously long name. Dragon Ball Z movie. That was what was that? That was the ninth movie. Wasn't it like some superly ridiculous, awesome, strong guy? In fact, let me see right quick. Let me look at it, Google it right quick. Dragon Ball Z movie 9 Japanese title. I'm thinking my memory's not too far off. It was ridiculously long, like something like the super awesomely strong guy. So what did that? Let's see. The literal translation is the galaxy at the brink, the super incredible guy. Alternatives are the galaxy is in danger, the super awesome guy. Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, the super awesome guy, man. The names they used to give these, man, was just quite something. The superly awesome, ridiculously strong guy. Like, it's crazy how far we're coming, because we're gonna be talking about Dragon Ball Super Beerus later, and like, how far have they come? Now they're just saying Dragon Ball Super Beerus, keep it short. But back then they used to be like, it's the incredible power of the superly awesome, ridiculously super ultimate supreme strong guy to take on the super supreme ultimate super Saiyan. If Son Goku can't do it, then no one can. Maybe Vegeta, maybe Gohan, but if they can, definitely Goku can do it. And if he can't, maybe about after 2-3 tries he can. Dragon Ball movie 15. There's no Dragon Ball Z movie 15 or anything like that, but like, that's exactly how they used to put those titles back in the day and everything. But yeah, getting back to the action here. Love it that we get this in the game. I'm gonna look forward to, like, it's gonna be funny seeing Gohan do this to much smaller characters than he is. Like, at that point, shouldn't they just blow up and explode and stuff like that? But yeah, I love it. We actually get to see it. This stuff looks so funny. Couldn't they put like a glow around the back or something? I just think it looks so hilarious when they go through these characters and there's nothing. Like, what did he do exactly? He went through them, but I see no damage. Like, I understand if they don't want to show the blood holes or whatever, but at least show like a glow effect to indicate where he came out of. Like, Gohan went through him and that's just it. Like, how did it hurt him? That stuff be looking so ridiculous when they do it. And then I love the explosion where he glows and everything, and then right there you see the explosion and boom. I think, yeah, bomb right there you go, the impact frame. Yeah, that's what I think. The if it's a smaller character, Gohan should just annihilate them right now. Oh, I'm really hoping this technique, by the way, works on giants. Just imagine seeing little old Gohan go through a big giant like Hirudegan or Golden Ozaru baby Vegeta. Man, that would be awesome. SMP in the chat says, because he's the last dragon, Bruce Leroy 80s. Yeah, pop me with that one, SMP. Love that movie. Oh man, oh gosh, take him back. Oh boy, another movie that's part of my childhood. I wasn't even born in the 80s, but yeah, that movie played a lot in my household. So then we get new right here, and so we got Goku flying on the was it the Keaton? Is it the Keaton or something like that? I think, aka the Nimbus Cloud, and we got him doing the Kamehameha here on Roshi's Island. So it's a new stage. I'm glad to see it. We can finally fight on Roshi's Island, but once again, this is a stage that I think was on Tenkaichi 2's PAL version, and then it's a stage that was on Tenkaichi 3, and they even had it in the story mode, and I was like, okay, why are we not fighting on Roshi's Island? So I wonder when they update this, does this mean if I were to go back and play the first battle with Raditz in Son Goku story mode, that we'll get to fight right here on the island? So yeah, it just feels more like this is a legacy DLC and everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. Now this right here is interesting. New stages. Look at that right there. And it said no new mode. So what we got right here, this was probably one of the most talked about interesting shots, because one of the biggest complaints about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and a lot of those of you out there who've been playing it far longer than me, you know, I just started finally really playing it somewhat on a regular basis back in October 2025, 1 year later, because I was so busy as a content creator. But the lack of modes is one of the things that I've been hearing a lot about. So we got Son Goku here. Basically, looks like you can do a free roam, because that is definitely a different camera shot. Usually they have it far enough so you can see the whole body, but this right here, we're like really close up, and everything. So we're seeing Roshi, Cell, Vegeta, another arena that looks like you can go to, two other stages. One's a question mark, the other one has the explanation mark. So a free roam, is this going to be a new addition to the story mode? Are they enhancing story mode? Are we getting something cool? Like, this seems fun, and I hope it has some really cool cutscenes to it, because I definitely like playing the story aspect of this game. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to be when they announce it at Battle Hour and things of that nature. So I'm glad we're getting a new mode here. They had the limit breaking. Yes, sir. Woo! Oh, you guys are right. I am, as they call it in pro wrestling, marking out over OG Dragon Ball characters. I could tell right away. That is Devilman right there. And I didn't catch this when I first watched the trailer. So we got Devilman going against Goku Black. Once again, like I've been saying about OG Dragon Ball characters, Dragon Ball was a lot about magic and different hacks, and you had to really strategize kind of to defeat your opponent, versus Dragon Ball Z, there was still strategy involved, but a lot of it came down to who is more stronger, who's more powerful. Think of a guy like Frieza, who we find out in Dragon Ball Super basically never trained, yet he was able to take Son Goku to the limit, forcing him to go SS1, and that's only because of pure power. But when it comes to martial arts ability, absolutely Goku's trained far more. He's a far more better martial arts expert than Frieza ever was. But you get characters like Devilman, because what Devilman actually has, he takes the existing pure evil in your heart and has his power called, I think, the Devil Might Beam, and he shoots it towards you, and you utilize that. I think in Japanese he's Akuman, because Aku means like demon in Japanese and stuff. But yeah, Devilman here, what was really cool is he uses it against Son Goku, who's of course pure of heart. And so because there's no evil in Goku's heart, it doesn't work. Similar to how the crazy wizard Bobbity, he can control your mind and turn you into a Majin as long as you have some sort of trace of evil in your heart. So yeah, that's exactly. And Devilman has the same thing. So this frame right here is a interesting question. Like, what happens if Devilman, say, went up against a truly evil being in Dragon Ball? Obviously, Goku Black would easily kill him, but what if he hit Goku Black with that Devil Might Beam? Like Goku Black just thought, it's not gonna do, he's like, it's not gonna do anything to me, and then he gets hit with it. But Goku Black is one of the most evil mother effers on the planet when it comes to in the multiverse, when it comes to Dragon Ball, when it comes to Dragon Ball. I mean, just look what Zamasu he did as Zamasu. Yeah, when it comes to that, I'm like, I kind of wonder how would Devilman fare against some of the Dragon Ball characters later on. And one of the really coolest Easter eggs back in Budokai Tenkaichi 3, aka Sparking Meteor, is if you use Devilman's Devil Might Beam against a lot of the villains in the game, it would almost sometimes be instant KO or take off a ridiculous amount of health. And it was in some cases you could one-shot them. Now, when you put them up against characters who were pure of heart, like Gohan or Kid Chi-Chi or Goku, it did nothing. 0 damage. It was one of the most powerful techniques in the game against villains, and the weakest technique against those who were pure of heart. And here's another nice detail that I love. If you were playing as base form Goku, the Devil Might Beam does 0 damage. But as he went SS1, it did a little bit of damage. When he went SS2, it did even more damage. And when you got to Goku's strongest form, SS3, SS4, it did a lot more damage. And I love that, because it's like as Goku gets Super Saiyajin and gets into the SSJ rage of it all, it basically ended up, as he went further up in SSJ powers, like more of the Saiyajin instincts are taking over, and there's more rage within the heart and everything, because that's what Son Goku said. Hey, I know there are people people out there that love the old classic dub, you know, Elina, good, nightmare to you, in the original Japanese version, and it's corrected in the Kai dub. Goku says he is a Super Saiyan whose heart has been filled with rage and everything. Yeah, he's to awaken the legendary Super Saiyan. I'm paraphrasing there, but he says something long like that, and I love that Sparking Zero, Spike, the developers, they put that classic detail into this, so it's really cool to see Devil man, Akuman, however you say his name, in the game, and I'm hoping they keep that detail. So that was really cool. And if you used it against characters like, say, Yamcha, Krillin, aka Krudin, yeah, he actually would not do as much damage, but do a little bit of damage, because if you remember, is it the Kitan, the Kitan Un? Oh man, I didn't put this in my notes. Let's see. Nimbus Cloud, Japanese name. Let me look it up here. What was the Japanese? Yeah, the Kiton Un. Yeah, Kiton Un, aka the Nimbus Cloud. Yeah, when you put that in the game, basically, when he got on top of that, I think it was when Krillin got on that, he fell right through. But when Chi-Chi got on there, she was pure of heart and stayed just like Goku and stuff. So yeah, I love those little details they put in this game. So I'm glad to see Devilman making his comeback. And I can't wait to see how much damage this would do against someone as evil as Goku Black. So there we got Muten Roshi, aka Master Roshi, and yes, we got Grandpa Gohan in the game, another OG classic from Tenkaichi 3. I forgot if he was in Tenkaichi 2, but Tenkaichi 3, he was definitely in there, so I'm glad to see we're gonna have Grandpa Gohan back. Yeah, just a lot of OG Dragon Ball characters. That was what was fun. You got is that Tenkaichi games used to not forget about OG Dragon Ball. We got Champa in there with Beerus, so it's good. I would love to if we could play as all the gods in the game, and I think we might see that. So I'm going to be very interested to see what Champa can do. I wonder if we're going to get Vados in there, because yeah, Vados is like the strongest female right now that I think we know of in Dragon Ball, because she's Whis' sister, and Whis is stronger. The angels are stronger than the gods, and so yeah, she's even, I think, stronger than Whis, which was stated. So yeah, I would definitely love to play as Vados in the game. Yes sir, woo! Tao Pai Pai, aka Mercenary Tao. Love it, seeing him and Kid Goku battle it out and everything, man. Now, if Piccolo Daimao was if Piccolo Daimao basically was like the godfather of the supervillain, this is the godfather of just the bad A $$ villain, basically. Like, man, Tao Pai Pai, once again, if y'all have not watched OG Dragon Ball, you have got to watch this, because Tao Pai Pai, man, the mercenary, he is awesome, dude. It just, when your introduction goes like this, I think this was his introduction, because I know he kills what's his name, General Blue, with his tongue, and General Blue was a tough opponent for Goku and Krillin to overcome, and General Blue just took out his tongue, and then General Blue right to the temple, he's like and then he fell out. So yeah, man, that shows you how formidable he was for his time in OG Dragon Ball. But if y'all ain't seen it, man, let me explain, let me break this down here. Let me get some water too for this. So there's one of his introductions in OG Dragon Ball is there's a guy that tries to sneak up on him and assassinate him with a gun. Guy pulls out the gun, boom, and you see General Tao, he's got his hands behind his back, and he just widens his eye and he's like, and then they slow down the motion so that we can understand the magnitude and the speed at which Tao Pai Pai moves. This is ridiculous. It's absurd on so many levels, but it really put Tao Pai Pai over as that dude. He was him for his time in OG Dragon Ball. So the bullet, like, makes it about halfway to Tao Pai Pai's here. The bullet makes it about halfway. And what happens is Tao Pai Pai, he takes his slipper. He has a slipper on, and he basically shoots the slipper up into the air. So the slipper starts rotating in the air, goes past his face, and it rolls over his head, and it rolls behind him, and then it hits the bullet. The bullet hits the slipper. Now check this out. It's a bullet versus a slipper. You guys clearly know where that bullet, what's gonna win. That bullet is going through that slipper. But when you have have such speed and velocity that this man was able to chuck that slipper off to hit the bullet. It hits the bullet so hard that the bullet ricochets. The bullet ricochets and doesn't just goes flying anywhere. No. The bullet turns back around and ricochets at pinpoint accuracy, pinpoint precision, right back to the guy that shot the gun at him, and the bullet flies back and boom, hits the guy in the skull, I think it did, and he's dead. He's done. He's gone. And what about that slipper? Well, the slipper, it ricochets back as well, but it ricochets over Tao Pai Pai's head, down his face, and then it goes and perfectly he puts his foot, because he's actually walking, so he literally makes the next step. He doesn't even just like put his foot out there to catch it. He just happens to be walking with his foot, and the foot that goes off the ground, the slipper perfectly lands back onto his foot, and then they go back to regular motion, and Tao Pai Pai with his hands still behind his back, never even looking, he just keeps walking calmly while the guy is dead. What the heck? That is absolutely absurd. If it sounds absurd, look at the scene, look it up. Man, that's how Tao Pai Pai dealt with people that try to sneak up on him and assassinate him. Incredible. That's what you do. This dude was for real, man. It's a shame they didn't release that in America as soon as they could have and everything, but I understand why OG Dragon Ball wasn't a success, because they, in the beginning stages, because of how they had to edit it down and stuff, and understandably, those first 13 episodes of OG Dragon Ball were wild. But one of the things about Tao Pai Pai, like, that's not even, using your slipper to ricochet bullets and kill assassins with their own bullets, putting your tongue on people's temples and killing them. That's not even the most absurd thing else as far as what Tao Pai Pai could do. This man, he literally would do one chop to a pillar here, one chop to the pillar at the top, take the thing out and chuck that thing like 800 feet in the air or even further above the clouds. And the man, while still with his hands behind his back, he would jump up all 800 to 1,000 feet, however many ridiculous feet in the air above the clouds. He would then land on top of that pillar and just standing straight up, and the man literally could travel across the world, miles. I don't know how many minutes or hours he was traveling at incredible speeds that were quicker, maybe even quicker than the airplanes. And he's just standing there, and he somehow knew how to use just enough force to keep it going for a long time, and then start to slow down when he needed it to he reach his destination. Absurd stuff, man. The late great Akira Toriyama, man, that's the type of humor he was so good at. Just ridiculous feats of strength, man. Like, this guy literally was the God bless his soul as well. Chuck Norris passed away and everything too. Another icon and legend, who did a lot for martial arts and the action movie series and stuff and everything. Walks Texas Ranger. I never followed Chuck Norris' career that heavily, but I did know of him and obviously the matches he had with Bruce Lee. But the thing is, Chuck Norris, he had those ridiculous memes. One of my favorites was that Chuck Norris, I think something along the lines, he doesn't do push-ups. He simply pushes the earth beneath him further down. this man right here, he was the walking Chuck Norris of Dragon Ball. This man doesn't get flights to travel. He simply takes pillars and chucks them in the air and flies on them. This man doesn't raise arms to defeat you. He simply just needs one lick at your skull and you're done. This man doesn't have to worry about being assassinated. He lets his slipper do the talking for him. Just ridiculous. Oh my, so I'm glad Tao Pai Pai's in the game, and if they do stuff like that, with Tao Pai Pai in OG Dragon Ball, man, I am going to be super stoked. If they give a technique like that where he punches somebody and he walks away thinking they're beaten, and they try to attack a ki blast and he uses his slipper to repel the ki blast, like, just imagine Goku doing a spirit bomb, a Genki Dama, and he slips it and the Genki Dama gets thrown back. Like, I would love that. That would be absolute hilarious. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. And then we got Zangya from is it Zangya or Zanya from from the Bojack Unbound movie, going up against Krillin, aka Krillin here. So I love that we got her in there. Oh man, you know what I'm gonna do? Y'all that played Tenkaichi 2, y'all would know this. Oh man, the first match I'm gonna probably do on live stream is I'm going to put her against Lazui, aka Juhachiko, aka Android 18, because there is a line in that game you were like, oh, did they go there? So in Tenkaichi 2, if you actually take Zangya and put her against 18, her line is, your man's kind of cute, and then from there she puts her hair back, she goes like, skank, and we're like, oh, did they just put that in a video game, even if it is rated T for teen? Like, oh, they went there. There were so many people who, you go on the internet, search back then in like 2000, that 2006 period, people were going wild over that, like, holy crap. And then when we put it in Tenkaichi 3, where she, once again, she says the whole thing, she says, your man's kind of cute, and then 18 goes like, just a, no, 18 doesn't say anything, she just has her regular generic voice, opening voice line that she says anytime you put her against someone that she had no connection with. And I remember all of us were like, oh, it's just like they did the same thing in Tenkaichi 1 with Jace. When you would fight Jace, he'd be like, shut up, you wanka. And then in Tenkaichi 2, he'd be like, shut up, you wanka. And that's exactly how it would cut off. It didn't just like record the line where he goes like, shut up. No, he would literally, shut up, yo. And it's like they just did a hard cut. Like, and you guys who do audio editing would know this. It's like someone like, it was very difficult between the frames of the audio. So it's like, okay, we either cut the first part of the syllable out, or we cut the next part out and it's gonna cut off the next part of the word. So we have to do that. And I was like, oh, they took those lines out, man. The mid 2000s, they didn't care. Some of them lines were wild AF back then. So I'm hoping they bring this back, because now they realize we're a lot more mature. They realize a lot more people, adults are playing these games, and a lot more than the kids and teens that are playing these games are a lot more smarter than you might want to give them credit for. So, you know, at least compared to what it was back then. So, you know, now they're saying Mr. Satan and everything, and they're cursing in these games. So yeah, bring those classic lines back. I can't wait to see what they come up with. But yeah, I'm glad Zanya's in the game. Love having more females in the game. She was one of the few females that got into the game outside of 18 and Videl. So yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so I'm really glad to see her coming back here and everything. So that's really awesome. One of the things though that that I always found funny about Zangya, I used to wonder this: did she make it into these games because she's a female, or I should put it like this and then that? Did she make it into the game because they figured out of all of Bojack's henchmen, we need to put her in the game? Or is she in the game simply because she's a female and they wanted to make sure they had more female characters? Like I said, I'm not complaining, but if you watch movie 9, I don't remember one thing she did of substance. She beat up Krillin, was attracted to her, and she basically knocked out Krillin with that kick, and that was it. And yeah, like you had a guy, I don't remember the names, correct me if I'm wrong, I think his name was like Gokua or something like that, and he had a sword, and he fought Trunks in the movie, but Trunks didn't have a sword, and I think Trunks or someone kills him, and then later in the movie, Vegeta comes with the sword. I'm like, y'all missed on a great opportunity. How you gonna have two characters who are sword specialists fighting? We could have got our very first ever Dragon Ball Z sword battle. That would have been awesome, but we didn't. However, Tite Kuba would eventually have our back on that with Bleach, and we got to see what Dragon Ball fighting style with swords was like. But man, that was a huge missed opportunity in that movie. And then I think, was it Bujin, Beto, and stuff, and I think they had the cool techniques. They had a lot of great synchronized attacks where they would basically be using they would trap you with their own like key webs and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember what the heck Zangya did. And in fact, Zangya got one of the most bogus deaths in the movie when Bojack basically starts laughing like, ho, 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 you think you've honestly won? He basically takes his key blast and pushes Zangya in the front and blasts her, and you literally see her face comes towards the camera and it completely disperses and blows up, and we're like, oh snap. crap. Like, he did not give a crap about her. Like, they just, that's how she ended up dying. But yeah, she didn't do much in the movie. Awesome character design. I love it. But yeah, like, wow. Okay. I would actually love to, I would love it if they bring all of Bojack's men in the game, so hopefully they get announced. Because yeah, I think Bujin and Beto, they had some really cool synchronized attacks that I think would be cool. So yeah, I would love to see them more factions and teams in the game. But yeah, we'll see what goes on there. But happy to see Zanya's back. Hopefully, all of Bojack's men ends up making it into the game. Yes, sir! Paikuhan, aka Pikkon in the dub. Man, glad to see him. He's been in the game since Tenkaichi 2, I think, 3. For some reason, I don't remember if you could take his weighted armor off. I think he always fights like that. And everything. But the fact that they're using the actual Tenkaichi Budokai stage and not the Afterlife Budokai stage tells me they're not going to have that in the game. Would have loved to have seen that. But yeah, it's cool. We got Pikkon and Son Goku. This was an awesome filler fight. Like, that's one of the cool things about Dragon Ball Z filler is I felt that some of them didn't feel like a waste of time to watch, but then, you know, at the time I wasn't reading the manga, so who knows. But yeah, Pikkon, I think the fact that these characters, these filler and movie characters find their way into these games shows how popular they are. So yeah, this is cool. Yeah, overall though, with that in there, that was really cool to see. I love this fight, so I'm glad to see Pikkon and Goku. I think we got the Kaioken SS1. I'm not sure how that would have obviously worked for Goku's body, but in filler, I guess whatever the heck. He had one of the coolest introductions against Cell and everything. I still clown on that dub, the dub version of it. I gotta watch this in Japanese. I haven't seen the Japanese version of it, but man, I remember when Pikkon shows up and Frieza's like, "How could he have improved so much?" And then Cell's like, "Don't you worry." He said, like, "Don't you worry. Remember, he says, "Don't you worry." Oh yeah, he's like, "Don't you worry. I'm the one that killed him, remember?" And he goes like, "Well, after you, my friend," Frieza goes. And Cell goes like, "You're too kind." And he flies right after Pikkon, and then the flame goes over and kicks Cell right in the face, and Goku's like, "What the?" And I remember Frieza's like, "Who's that?" And King Cole's like, "I do say." And Pikkon smacks Cell. He smacks Cell into the blood pool and teleports behind him and just looking all like this, basically total aura farming. And they're basically looking up, and Frieza's looking back to the side, and he gets like chopped in the face with like back fist in the face, and like his eyes go in the black of his head. He's like, and Frieza's out, and then King Cole gets elbowed in the gut by Pikkon, boom, and King Cole, the way, I forget the voice actor's name because I don't got the notes here, but the way he sold that action, as they say in pro wrestling, selling, the way he grabbed his stomach and the way he did the voice, like, "Oh, oh, 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 oh." And then, you know, when Pikkon flew up above the blood pool, and he started doing that tornado attack that sent everybody into the sharps, the sharp spikes pointing out, because you had the Ginyu Force outside of Captain Ginyu, of course, and you had Cell. That was crazy. And Cell, he's like, oh, he was terrified, and they got locked up in prison. I'm not sure how all that works out in hell and everything. I love that Cell didn't have a bandage on his stomach, but the Ginyu Force did, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, it was a really cool filler. Now, when you look back on it, that filler made no sense at all, because yet Goku at SS1, Pikkon had this fight struggle a lot harder, and it was so confusing. I figured it out, like, okay, so is Pikkon like SS2 Gohan level? The power scaling was all but a mess. Goku wasn't even meant to go he was meant to go SS1, but then they realized, oh crap, we gotta change the hair back to black and things like that for the afterlife. So that was crazy that they went ahead and did that with Goku and Pikkon. But you can actually see him as SS1 fighting the Ginyu Force in the next week's preview. But by the time they did the episode, they painted his hair to black, and that made people start calling it Super Saiyan Power, where Goku is in his base form and gains the power of a Super Saiyajin. This is like, okay. Oh man, yeah. Some of those fillers were just dumb fun. Don't wreck your brain over. Don't try to figure it out, but enjoy the action. Enjoy the absurdity of it and everything and stuff. And the dub even made that even more hilarious and stuff like that. But yeah, glad to see Pikkon in there. Can't wait to see what they do for those moves. So yeah, we got our looks at Goku and Vegeta with the Galick Kamehameha, both of them shooting their techniques, and I love it that how they show it fused and combined. I was really shocked to see that they got the final Kamehameha in there with Vegito, so that was awesome. Love the technique, and it's probably going to shoot towards the character. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, new DLC coming soon. Man, love it. Yeah, it was fun going down memory lane and everything on all this and stuff like that. So definitely